Mr.
There was no way we weren't drinking tonight. Jets Dolphins. I mean, seriously, dude. We weren't getting through this one without alcohol.
Listen, let me tell you how my Friday is going. I am so lazy that I was half done with one. I dumped a full one on top of it. I'm like, I'm not even gonna walk. I'm not gonna walk through the refrigerator. I'm just gonna go right to it and just be like, just go right for the kill here. So what we got to do, unfortunately, I never realized we don't really do a formal introduction of what we're actually doing here and who we are. So we're Let's Talk Jets Radio. We broadcast live every Tuesday night at 8 or 8:30, depending on my lousy schedule. And
mention the goddamn phone number. We're getting ripped for that too.
When it comes to professionalism, we don't really cover that base either. So 8 or 8:30 on Tuesday night, hopefully 8 o'clock. It's a 2-hour show. It's me. It's prime time. It's our good friend Tyrone. And then we also do a show tonight. And on Sunday, it remains to be seen. We are being swayed to do a live stream during the game on Sunday, but we are on Instagram and Twitter at Talk Jets Radio. You can follow Primetime myself. Our names are on there. We appreciate all the support and everything else. As you guys can tell right now, we are not an X's and O's people. We are not analysts. We are not experts. We're just fans that like to argue and rip this shitty team to pieces, and that's pretty much it.
I don't think there's anybody that's tuning in tonight to listen to X's and O's on Jets Dolphins,
So we'll cover some of the hot topics before we go into this mess of a game. And obviously, Le'Veon Bell going to the Chiefs, something that's happened since I've talked to you. I'm happy for him, dude. And the best headline out of all of it was Andy Reid, who knows how to use his weapons, should use Bell wisely. No kidding, dude. That just says so much in itself, just that statement alone.
Yeah, you have a team that won the Super Bowl last year, and they see enough value to bring Le'Veon Bell in to think that he can make that offense a little bit better or add some kind of element that they don't have right now. So you would think that a team like the Jets, 0-5, desperate for weapons, they have cap space, so it's not like they're starved for money. They're trying to develop their young quarterback. You would think they would find some way to get something out of Le'Veon Bell, but no.
Yeah, so that was the first. It was it's so funny because Andy Reid's got a good weapon. He could use him as a pass catcher. He could use him as a goal line guy. They came out 5 different ways they could use Le'Veon Bell. I'm like, they have 5 ways. Adam Gase didn't even have one. He wanted to get him out of town as fast as possible. So that was the first story, obviously, whatever. And then all these things that are happening now have been predicted for months. Like the meltdown that happened in Miami is now happening here with the Jets. And you knew scapegoats are part of this with Adam Gase. It's always everybody.
You that one back in August,
right? Yep. It's always everybody else. It's not him. It's the players. So the problem with the Jets now is they're obligated to do press conferences, and they can't go a day without embarrassing themselves. So the whole it's irrelevant when they asked about Le'Veon Bell's play calling. The whole when they asked Adam Gase if he would give up his play calling, he said, "No, I talked to the staff and my team. They said, no, we should keep doing what we're doing." It's
clearly they didn't talk to Greg Williams.
No. So then this is the most predictable thing because you knew it was only a matter of time before Adam Gase, now that Bell's out of town, dude, he's got to find somebody else, right? So Greg Williams sees the writing on the wall. He knows he's dead man walking too. It's only a matter of time before they're all going to get fired, including him by the end of the season. Yeah. So now it's protect your ass time of the season where it's like, listen, this is a sinking ship, but I'm going to make sure everybody knows it's not really my fault why we're going down. Right. So now Greg Williams says, yeah, our defense has been rough. We made some mistakes, but it's not just us. So now we have the Adam Gase, Greg Williams dynamic, which has been predictable. And dude, I guarantee I can almost predict this. Williams is going to be fired. What's going to be said is Greg Williams will be fired before Adam Gase is. I guarantee it.
I don't want to waffle on this one, but I kind of like Greg Williams coming out and saying this. Obviously, it's not to deny that the defense has been bad. The defense has been equally as bad as the offense this year. But I just think realistically, we need people to call out Adam Gase. We want to see him gone as soon as possible. I think as fans, we're in the mode where we just want to see this thing burn until the organization wakes up and realizes Adam Gase isn't the guy. So, yeah, I wish Greg Williams would have did this last year because I feel like he would have more merit by doing it last year where his defense was actually performing, whereas this year everybody's kind of taking a step back just like the offense. So we'd have a little bit more ground to stand on if he did this last year. But like you said, he sees the writing on the wall. He knows Joe Douglas is probably cleaning house at the end of the year. At least that's what we hope. So, yeah, he's in self-preservation mode, and I don't blame him.
I mean, if I'm Greg Williams, I go scorched earth, dude. I'd be like, you know what? This team is a mess. Like, just call it what it is. And the saddest thing about all this is going to become a complete embarrassment all across the NFL. The Jets are already a laughingstock, and it's going to get a lot worse. And it can all be avoided. if you would have fired Adam Gase 2 weeks ago, Bell's probably still here. All this bullshit with Greg Williams will be going on. All this could be avoided. But the Jets just feel committed to just ride this out and become the complete embarrassment that they really are. It's cool. Like they accept it. Like we're gonna be a traveling circus, and we're fine with that.
And that's what's crazy, that ownership doesn't see the damage that's being done day by day, week by week. Because a few weeks ago, I mean, we were still very high on Mekhi Becton, and now, back-to-back weeks he's going to be out, and at least he's listed as doubtful right now. So it's very unlikely he's going to play. And going into that Thursday night game, they were saying that he can't do anything to hurt it worse, right? He was still active, he was dressed, and yet now 2 weeks later he's still out. So you got your first-round pick banged up. You threw Sam back in there when he had his shoulder hurt. He's still not playing. So how many other guys are we either going to ruin with injuries, force out the door like Robbie and Jamal and Le'Veon Bell? He's just completely destroying this organization from top to bottom at this point.
But how aren't the Jets embarrassed? Like day by day, like the Dow Loggins interview yesterday was a joke. This shit with Greg Williams is gonna get worse, dude. Like I want to see a sideline like MMA fight. I want to see them just start brawling on the sideline, just beating the hell out of each other. Because you know what? They're gonna show more fight in the sideline than they will during the game. But what's gonna happen here, and it can all be avoided. And why does ownership want to tolerate it? Like, does nothing embarrass them? Being 0-5 doesn't embarrass them. Being a laughingstock doesn't embarrass them. Being the worst organization on and off the field doesn't embarrass them. Like, nothing bothers Chris Johnson? Nothing at all?
See, he would be more embarrassed at the fact that he came out week one and called Adam Gase brilliant. So he feels the need.
He's almost as arrogant as Adam Gase is.
Exactly. He feels the need to stick by his statement and ride this thing out. And I was hopeful that, at the very least, after Dan Quinn and Bill O'Brien got fired, two coaches that were well more accomplished than Adam Gase, that would kind of open his eyes and say, you know what, if other teams around the league who are winning divisions, going to the Super Bowl, if they could fire their head coaches after a couple years of failure, why can't I fire Adam Gase, who doesn't have anything on his resume?
Yeah, so now you know how much of a prick Adam Gase is. You talk shit about him. I mean, Le'Veon Bell likes some tweets on Twitter, and all of a sudden he's out of here. Yeah. Greg Williams started the riff now. Because now this is going to be story. Now, tomorrow's press conference, first question to Adam Gase is, what do you think about Greg Williams' comment? Oh, we handle that internally. No, not going to handle internally. Yeah. The Dolphins are going to drop 40 on Sunday on you, and then you're going to fire Greg Williams on Monday. That's what's going to happen, dude. That's my prediction, that this is going to be a blowout. They're going to have an argument. Greg Williams is like, you know what? Give him the finger. And Gase's like, you know what? You're fired. This is going to end everywhere.
I just think that would do more damage to Gase's credibility, because I do think there are.
He doesn't have any credibility.
Well, exactly, but what little he might have in that locker room, the guys on the defensive side who are still playing hard, that respect Greg Williams, they're going to completely mail it. And not that we're seeing much effort now as it is, but some of those guys on defense, I do think respect Greg Williams. I think it's more of a talent issue.
You think Adam Gase cares about that?
No, he doesn't. But
he's a power hungry prick, dude. He don't care. He just shipped out Le'Veon Bell because of tweets.
Not wrong.
So now you have, the Greg Williams thing's going to be a fiasco. So now, it's like I said, if you're looking, you said actually yourself, is if you're looking for X's and O's tonight, you're going to get some comments. You're going to get a lot of jokes. You're going to get a lot of drinking, because this game, you can't even take this game seriously. Like, you really can't. Like, the spread's what, 9.5, 10? Like, we can start with that. You're the guy that releases our betting information on Saturdays with Panda. Give us some betting insight.
I mean, I was actually kind of surprised that the spread was that high. I mean, the Dolphins hadn't been favored, I think, by more than 7 or 8 in about 3 years. Listen, the state of the Jets team right now, combined with the release of Le'Veon Bell, I do think that did some things in the locker room where you're not going to see this team fighting hard. But Fitzpatrick could always have a Fitzpatrick game. I mean, we saw plenty of those through his 2 years here. So exactly. I mean, to expect this to be a close game would be foolish. I wouldn't put any kind of money on the Jets cover in the spread. But yeah, I mean, Fitzpatrick could always throw those 1 or 2 interceptions that can keep a game close. But this year, he's been money this year, and they're coming off a big win with the Niners. I know you mentioned a few days ago maybe this being a trap game for them. I don't see it being that way. They're well coached with Flores, so I think they're going to come out and put a beating on us, just like the Cardinals did.
Yeah, I mean, I think the trap game works for teams that where Adam Gase has a pass for the Dolphins. A lot of these guys don't like him. It's a rival game. I think there's not really that much of a trap. But I guess if you want, we can go into a little bit. Is just the injury report. And it's so funny, the whole thing with Becton, I'm like, have they not learned, Becton and Darnold do not come back until they're fully healthy. This is rocket science here. Yeah, this is the problem you have when you have a lame duck coach here just trying to fight for every ounce of his job, which is already gone. Becton, Becton should be out, dude. There's not even don't make him doubtful, don't make him emergency, out. Sam Darnold, out. And I don't bring back Darnold until Becton's back. If you're here, then you're here. If you're not, you're not. Simple as that.
Yeah, it would be one thing if you had an established coach in play who, had some innovative offense, and these guys were missing out on valuable time. Going out there in the Adam Gase offense, for what?
Yep.
I mean, what are they getting better at? What are they improving at? I mean, at this point for Sam to just kind of sit back, be able to, just watch some defenses, hang out on the sideline. We remember his first year when he got hurt with the ankle injury. He came back and he was one of the best quarterbacks in football over that stretch towards the end of the season. So it's not like he can't sit back, learn some things. And again, just operating in the Adam Gase system, I don't think it does anything for his confidence at all. Yeah,
so you look at that. So you have some of these comments. Why do you bring these comments up? These comments. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Because I mean, not many of us care about this game. So thank you for joining us. Yeah,
I tried for like 5 minutes to look up the injury report, look up some X's and O's. I couldn't do it.
So you have Becton's out, Darnold's out, Perriman could be back, and then now Adam Gase is excited. He's like, well, we haven't had speed like that. I thought Jeff Smith was your speed guy. I guess Vincent Smith maybe may come back. Who knows? Denzel Mims is getting closer, but the return of Perriman, wonderful. He has some chemistry with Flacco.
Jet's secret weapon, according to Ralph Accio.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, dude. Like, so you have that, and then you have the one thing that I'm not gonna lie to you. The one thing I'm kind of interested in is Michael Pirine getting actual carries and getting some reps and actually showing something. But my fear is that Frank Gore is going to see too much action. But dude, like, he's the kind of guy you want to start getting reps because that's a guy you're looking forward to next year. Like, this isn't about winning games, about getting just seeing what you have because he's not the explosive player you think he is, or whatever else. That is another hole in your team. So hopefully he gets enough carries this game. Just something. Give us catching a ball in the backfield, anything.
And that's what bothers me, though. Like the fact that you're still probably going to be featuring Frank Gore and that there were ways to get him the ball while Le'Veon Bell was still here. So you could have evaluated both of them together in the same backfield if you just sat Frank Gore's dumb ass. So, that part bothers me because we're at the point in the year where we just want to see these rookies out there. And it sucks that there's still about like 5 of them or 6 of them that are still hurt, not really playing. But yeah, the guys that are healthy now, especially towards the stretch, and these games are completely meaningless, you want to see them getting as many reps as possible. Even guys like Lamar Jackson, Bryce Huff, Greg Williams, he was complimentary of those guys today. You want to see those guys getting all the reps they can, find out what pieces you have going forward.
Yeah, and Bless Austin looks like he's another game he's going to miss, which is like, this is kind of a prove-it year for him too, man. He's got a lot to prove, and being hurt's not going to help his case. So, excuse me. So it's interesting, man. Like I said, there's not really a lot to analyze here. I mean, if Ryan Fitzpatrick played like he played last couple of weeks, especially last week, the Jets have no chance. I mean, he'll pick this defense apart, and he's got plenty of playmakers where they can spread the ball out. Like Mike Gesicki at tight end, Devontae Parker, like the list goes on, especially with Bless Austin being out. There's and then like the Dolphins running game isn't all that good. Probably the best runner right now is probably Ryan Fitzpatrick, to be honest with you. But like, dude, like you could see like offenses can pick our defense apart because the ultimate question for me is this team even going to show up, dude? You're 0-5. Everybody pretty much knows. Well, getting rid of Bell has wiped out your locker room, I guess, leadership and like probably momentum. Are they even going to compete for this team? And my answer is no. Like, I don't see it. Like, I think the release of Le'Veon Bell sucked out what little 10% life was left in his team is gone. Like, this is going to be a bunch of just like, I don't give a shit, give me my check, and we're going to be gone.
Yeah, I mean, you see all the players on social media liking his posts, liking his tweets, reaching out to him. You heard Sam Darnold when he was talking about how much he loved Le'Veon, how much he loved him as a teammate. Perriman talked that he was shocked that Bell got released. I think a lot of guys feel that way, that he was a respected guy. He was not a problem at all in that locker room. And I think it was the same thing with Jamal Adams. And I think
would you play? Like, if this was you,
no.
If you're in, especially if you're like in a contract year.
If I was a rookie, I'm trying to, prove myself, make a name for myself.
Most rookies aren't playing.
Well, exactly. I'd be hurt if I was a rookie. But yeah, I mean, if I had a contract set, let's say, right?
Yep.
What's my motivation to come back from an injury? Like Brashad Perriman, I'm a free agent at the end of the year. I'm making $8.5 million this year. Yep. What's my rush to come back and play 8 games in an Adam Gase system? That's not going to boost my salary for next year. That's not going to do anything for me. So.
No. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this team comes out flat as a pancake. They're sleepwalking. I said this on Tuesday. Like, it's only a matter of time, dude. Hamstring injuries, back injuries, calf injuries. Coach, I love to play, man, but guess what? I can't go today. Sorry, man. Just, dude, the players are going to mail it in because, you make a business decision. Like, I'm not going to play on this shitty team and have 1 catch for 8 yards. I'd rather be out and say, you know what? I wasn't healthy all year. I'll bounce back next year. Like, just save yourself at this point. And that's going to happen a lot, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, if the GM and head coach are making business decisions for the future of the team, then yeah, as players, why wouldn't I make a business decision? Like, for what's in the best interest of me going forward, so.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting. So in terms of matchups, Fitzpatrick's on a roll. That offense is rolling completely. Devontae Parker, all those guys. I mean, the Jets' pass defense isn't very good. They don't have much of a pass rush. John Franklin Myers is banged up. Bryce Huff, I guess, they're high on him, but like they haven't done anything. Their defense hasn't really done much of anything. So, I mean, what did they say, man? Like, it's just, I don't have much to say about this. It's just, I don't see how they win this game.
It's both sides of the ball. They have weapons on offense, and they have two very solid corners in Xavier and Howard.
3 good corners, yeah.
Yeah, Howard, Byron Jones, and who's the other one?
Yeah, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, and Nick Needham. He'd be the corner. He'd be the slot corner.
See, I don't even know shit about the Dolphins at this point.
Yeah, I mean, no. All I know is they're going to beat us. Like they, and they're going to be better coached. It's just, and then like the one argument that I saw was like we're being way too negative, and maybe Joe Flacco can make some plays with Perryman back and all this stuff. And I'm like, listen, would I mind seeing a competitive game? Of course not. Like, I don't want to see a 45-3 drubbing. But do I think it's going to be like a Jets going to win this game? Absolutely not. Like, I can't even lie to you and say I think it's going to happen.
See, I can't even root for a competitive game because we know what ownership is. We know how they like to celebrate small accomplishments. We saw it last year at 6-2. So any competitive game, any close game, God forbid they actually win a game, like they're going to pat themselves on the back and they're going to tout that as progress. And that's my biggest fear at this point. I feel like we're getting close where, even the media that defended Gase, they're starting to turn on him at this point. So ride the momentum. I don't want to give him any, shot at life, any fresh breath or anything.
Yeah. So in terms of like just game analysis, like it just matter. Will the Jets show up? I mean, pretty much the cards are stacked against them for a lot of reasons. That's well deserved. They're not the better team, not the better coach team. There'll be question about the locker room effort. If they get down early, like 10-0, I mean, forget it. I mean, right? I mean, there's really not let them really break down here. Like, you wonder, like, what guys like Marcus May are going to do. Jordan Jenkins, Brian Poole, like, can they rally guys, or do they just go along for the ride and say, you know what, this is not my problem. I'm not going to be here next year. I really don't care what happens here.
I think that's unfortunately probably the mindset of a lot of these guys where, they're going to go out there, try to make their own individual plays. But as far as playing team defense or anything like that, I don't expect to see it. Like, the announcers were talking about the Cardinals, how, anytime that they made a play against us, like, they were all rah-rah celebrating each other.
Yeah, they have no life.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you're going to see any kind of that team camaraderie with the Jets this year. They realize, at least half these guys that are in the locker room right now realize they're probably out the door at the end of the year, and there's just not anything to play for. They're not motivated by this coach, and it is what it is.
Yeah, and you wonder what role Joe Flacco's going to play in this. Is he just going to go for the ride too and just be like, hey, man, I'm only, these are the plays you call, and just get out of Dodge and just mail. Like, you don't know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think Flacco's just going to try to be a game manager, show that he could, make the throws that are there and, secure a contract for next year, whether it's as a starter or a backup again somewhere else.
Or just
show
healthy.
that just show that he still has it and, that he can get back healthy from that neck injury.
And the other question that we're getting, then we'll go to comments, because you guys in the comments section, man, holy cow, you guys are on fire tonight. Is there a scenario? Is there any scenario where the Jets lose, say 35-3, and Gase is fired on Monday? That's a conversation every week now. So, like, to me, at this point, like, he's already done enough to be fired the last 3 weeks. But is there something that could happen this Sunday, the ultimate breaking point where ownership's like, we have no choice?
I don't know what it could be. Like you said, maybe a fist fight with Greg Williams on the sidelines. I really don't know what else it would be.
I'm rooting for that, dude. That's the highlight of my game. I want to see a fight.
I would love that.
Like Kelvin Gilbride.
Yeah, old school Buddy Ryan,
Yeah, just go for it. Just beat the shit out of each other.
I'd love to see something like that, but yeah. Other than
so
that,
do you see there's no scenario where he gets fired on Monday?
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, if they were gonna fire him midseason, I thought they would do it after the Thursday night game. Now, if you're still thinking about it, it's probably not going to be until the bye week if you're going to do it midseason. But even then, I mean, like we said, ownership made their statements about him. Joe Douglas, he's in hiding still. He's not talking at all. So I just don't see a change coming, unfortunately.
All right. So to the comments we go. So again, because I didn't do this last time, and Kevin's read me the riot act now. Tuesday nights, usually at 8 o'clock or 8:30, we're on Blog Talk Radio. We do live the call-in show this past Tuesday. If you haven't listened to it yet, listen to it, because we didn't really talk that much. We let the callers just vent for 2 hours, and they just roasted this lousy ass team. And then we're here obviously Friday nights. Sunday is going to be interesting because now we've been proposed to live stream the game, which I guess our one challenge is that I'm 2 seconds ahead of you. So if we did it, we'd have to wait like 2 seconds after every play if we could both comment together. And we couldn't watch it with the sound on because then the NFL will come after us, right? That's how this works.
Yeah, those are the two issues that we'd have to figure out. The syncing of, what we're watching, and then that we could overcome, but then the audio, not being able to listen to it, that would kind of be tough. So I don't know.
We have to do that. If we did that, we'd have to rely on the comments to tell us if somebody got hurt, something like that. So they can kind of help us out because I wouldn't have no idea.
Yep.
And then the alcohol consumption during the game would be just.
Oh,
we have to do a game, dude.
I've got the Jets bingo board already. If we do it, so.
Do you really?
Yeah.
So how does this go about? Let's hear this now.
Well, I mean, so you list 24 different things, and if any of them happen, you got a drink. So, like, if the announcers mentioned Fitzpatrick went to Harvard, that's a drink. If you get stopped on third and short, you got a drink.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, this could
so
work.
You have different, like a regular bingo board, but then when you actually get bingo, you got to take a shot or something. We can make it like that.
Oh my goodness, we could do this, man. This could actually work, I think.
I got a whole list of stuff ready. So.
All right. So
down 3 possessions, kick a field goal. Right, fourth quarter. There's plenty of props in there that we could do. So.
Oh man, I have to buy a whole lot more seltzers then. My goodness. All right, so we'll take a vote later on. So now we're gonna go to comments. See what everybody's talking about here. Based on what I've already seen, it's not pretty out there on these YouTube streets, but
I don't expect it to be.
Fitz is gonna drop a 35 burger. I mean, Fitzpatrick's playing well, man. This is the best case scenario for the Dolphins because now Tua can sit and watch him and learn to get it completely 1,000% healthy, and Dolphin fans can't complain because the Dolphins are winning. So right, it's a best case scenario for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to think it's only a matter of time before Fitzpatrick goes back to being Fitzpatrick. But right now, he's playing well. He's been playing well since he's been with Miami. Man. Yeah, and he's got some playmakers around him, and the system's working for him. So
we're going to lose. I came here to talk to the fans who feel my pain. This is my therapy. Hey, wait, see, we serve a purpose, Primetime. You thought we serve no purpose. We actually serve a purpose.
It's been the highlight of the year, being able to do this instead of watching the games.
The whole scheme was by Douglas to get rid of weapons, to get rid of Darnold, to get the new quarterback. Now, this is an interesting comment because you know why? Dude, the articles are already starting. Connor Orr, Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated wrote that. 5 guys he thought can get traded. Sam Darnold was one of them to the Steelers. By the trade deadline, not the end of the year, by the trade deadline.
Yeah, you see that article. You see the Costello piece with the ex-Jets that are thinking, Sam's washed up already. It gives you concern, man. It really does.
Could you imagine if Darnold was traded at the trade deadline?
I don't know how they could conceivably do that without any assurances of getting the number 1 pick. Because then what's your plan? If you end up picking 3rd or 4th, you're taking the potential 3rd best quarterback, 2nd best quarterback, whoever that is. I mean,
that'd be the Jets' luck. They trade away Darnold and Flacco wins 3 games.
Yep. You better feel very confident in those 2nd and 3rd quarterbacks if if you're actually going to trade Sam away.
If they trade Darnold at the trade deadline, Gase is coming back.
Right. You're probably right.
Right. If they make that bold of a move.
But you know what? No. Because you think Trevor Lawrence is coming here if Adam Gase is still the head coach, if we get the 1st pick.
I'm saying no. I'm not sure what their plan is, but if you trade Darnold with Gase still here, if you trade him at the trade deadline, he's definitely coming back. Then he's part of this, he sold ownership. Listen, we got to blow this completely up because now
that could be Joe Douglas thinking that.
This is how bad my life has been lately. I've been bored. So I actually watched the Miami Dolphins, some of the pregame stuff. I watched their preview shows and everything else with Omar Kelly and those guys. And they were talking about during the draft process how Adam Gase didn't like Sam Darnold. I never knew that. Did you know that?
No.
Today was the first time I've heard that. Well, they said while with the Dolphins, I guess they asked Gase about Sam Darnold and he didn't like him. I never heard that before. So this is not me saying this. This is Omar Kelly, the Sun Sentinel, their little preview shit that I watched. I don't know why I did that. But
unfortunately, that probably tells you all you need to know. And what does that also say about Adam Gase? How many more guys need to not work in his system before he realizes, you know what?
Does he even have a system? What is his system? Does he even have one?
Passes behind the line of scrimmage, 2nd and long runs. That's his system.
Imagine if we had a healthy Anunwa, Herndon, Anderson, Crowder, Mims with a good coach. Darnold would have had everything he needed to prove himself. Well, Anunwa's never been healthy, unfortunately. Herndon's been a complete disappointment. I mean, Mims has just been, I guess.
Imagine if they drafted 2 wide receivers.
Yeah.
3 receivers.
Let's see. Next comment. The Jets at this point need to lose, no gain in winning. I think all Jet fans now are in the same boat where it's 0-16. We got to do it. Is that what we're rooting for it, I guess, right?
Yeah, to sit here, especially when Sam's not playing and you don't have, a lot of your rookies out there, what do you gain by winning? A lot of these guys that are out there on the field, like Flacco and Gore, they're not going to be here next year. Half the defense is on 1-year contracts. He signed a lot of other deals that were low risk, high reward, glorified 1-year contracts, appearing as 3-year deals. So, yeah, I don't know what the team gains by winning.
Yeah, and this next comment's kind of got me a little bit because I'm going to I mean, not going to blast the person, but honestly, though, on the real, Le'Veon was only here for the guaranteed money and to sell his rap album.
I don't buy that.
I don't buy that at all. I mean, he did everything right by this team. He supported Gase when he shouldn't have. He came in shape, was always training, took the high road, avoided certain situations, always tried to say the right things, and he was shit on endlessly by Gase while he was here. Not to mention, on and off the field, the Jets kept screwing with him. I mean, obviously he went to the highest bidder because he held out for a new contract. He wanted the max money. That's what he aimed for. But he also thought he was coming here with a team that had Sam Darnold, had Jamal Adams, had CJ Mosley. He thought he was coming to a team that was on the rise that had a chance to win.
And not for nothing. The second that he arrived here, it appeared that they didn't want him. All the stories were leaking, that Adam Gase didn't want to pay him. So the second he arrived, he felt like an unwanted member of the family pretty much. And, that's unfortunate because, like I said earlier, when you need playmakers and you need weapons and you finally get a guy in your building and before he even has a chance to put on the uniform, you're leaking stories about how you didn't want to pay him and he doesn't fit your system. It's just bullshit, man.
Next comment. I think the team will show up. The Jets are dealing players. It's all about what's on tape. I mean, some guys are going to have a sense of pride. You may get high efforts from a guy like Jordan Jacobs, maybe something like that. But I think overall this team's demeanor is like, we don't believe in our coach. We don't believe in our program. We know we're all going to get blown out of here by the end of the year. And they haven't been competing this far anyway. Like these first 5 games, they haven't competed. Exactly.
The players see what's going on here. They don't have any trust in this organization, or especially in this head coach. That's why they take to social media for certain things. And you hear the Avery Williamson comments, and Bradley McDougall from a few weeks ago about practice and things like that. There's a reason that these guys take to the media, take to social media. Yep. There's just no respect here.
No, Bell was nothing but a class act. Gase pushed him out. And that's just exactly what happened. Puppets and Muppets. This should be the shirt. Like if the Jets are trying to sell things now and everything's like 25% off, they should get their little logo and put Puppets and Muppets on it. I'd actually buy that shirt. I think. The Jet, right? The little plain Puppets and Muppets. There you go. See, we're trying to help them out a little bit here. I love that comment. This guy's just gonna get blocked because all he's doing is writing F on it. No idea what that means, so we'll get him out. Mosley made a business decision. Mosley's probably happy he did at this point to avoid all this nightmare. And you wonder about CJ Mosley next year. They'll probably get rid of him next year too. He won't be back.
How are they going to get rid of him? He's supposed to make like $17 million.
Yeah,
he's going to be here, I think. But yeah, he absolutely made a business decision, and I don't blame him for that at all.
No, me neither.
And it happened, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks after the Adams trade. He saw that the team wasn't serious about winning. So yeah, he made a decision to not play this year, and I don't fault him at all. Man, I live in South Florida, so the game will be on local TV. I have my desktop next to my TV. You guys got to live stream the game. It'd almost be like having a beer with you while we watch Core run up the gut. I mean, we might just have to do it.
We may have to do it, but this is going to be a disaster. Like you guys can't expect like any kind of like quality X's and O's here. I'm just going to be making fun of everything. Like it's going to be constant jokes.
I'll be falling over by the third quarter.
Boomer is a Jets double agent saying positive things about this team so other teams can beat us and we can't get better. Boomer, I love Boomer and Gio. Like I listen to them faithfully. I like them. Their takes on the Jets this year have been awful all the way around. And they're endlessly attacking Le'Veon Bell. Yeah. Boomer finally started ripping Gase. And the weird thing about him, and I hate that I'm picking on him, but I like him. But dude, 3 weeks ago, we had the same problem. And he was ripping fans for saying, you can't want the coach fired. You got to be patient.
1 week.
Patient. Yeah, 2 weeks later, Max, he's like, oh, got to fire the guy. It's a clown show.
Yep.
We were already telling you this. But he was trying to buy time for the Jets. Like, hopefully, like the Jets probably asked him, hey, man, just do us a favor. Like, give us some kind of like wiggle room here so we can try to get things straightened out. And of course, they can't. There's a lot of guys in the media like that. But now they have no choice because now it's like scorched earth. You have to just call them out for what it is.
Yeah, and that's what's a real shame is that guys like Boomer, Costello, Bob Wischusen, guys that I've all liked throughout the years. I've always read their stuff, followed their content. Wischusen, play-by-play voice of the Jets. We've had him on this show, and they're all just spitting out the Jets, PR propaganda talking points at this point, and fans see through it. And it's crazy that Manish Mehta, he's been the one voice of reason. Granted, he loved the Adam Gase hire initially, but he's been on the record, kind of wiping that away. I think by November, he was, kind of in agreement that, this guy shouldn't have been hired. Right. So he owned his bad take and he moved on. He's been calling out the organization ever since. And everybody else has been trying to cover, for Gase at every single turn. They throw every player under the bus. We keep seeing all these Sam Darnold, make or break year articles. We saw them back in July.
Yep.
So they were already planning the groundwork. We had shows about that. It's a joke at this point. And I think that's also why a lot of these fan shows like what we do are doing so well, because fans see through it and they're tired of it. They're not going to listen to bullshit that they know isn't true.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like if we watch, like a lot of these guys right now are tuning out of the Jets games and watching other things. They're watching a highlight or two and then kind of sharing their opinion. Where our miserable asses are watching the whole game, so we know what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Like we actually know who Lamar Jackson is and Bryce Huff, all these guys. Like even like Joe Benigno. We all love Joe Benigno. He's checked out too, dude. Like he doesn't know half the players either. He focuses on 2 or 3 plays and he's focusing on his golf game.
Yeah.
So next one. Instead of live streaming, just do a live halftime show and the game will be over anyway.
Thought about that.
We did consider that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I don't see how the Jets win a game, even if Darnold returns after this week. I mean, their schedule's brutal, man.
Yeah,
It really is.
We were looking at, the 2 Dolphin games, maybe the Charger game as, their potential wins. But even that right now, with the way Herbert's playing, the way Fitz has been playing, and with all the injuries, still having Sam out, no Becton right now, just got rid of Bell.
And guys sooner or later just quitting.
Exactly. I don't know how you're pulling out wins at this point.
No, me neither.
It's the Jet way to usually get 1 or 2 of them down the stretch, but yeah, I don't know where they're coming from.
Woody and Chris should be forced to sit in person to watch the Jet game like I do every Sunday.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, at least Chris does. He sits there, he watches it, yet he just doesn't see the same things that we see. He sees innovative football, with a coach that's coaching it to where it's going. So.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, we say this every Monday or every Sunday, actually. I don't know how ownership sits and watches 3 hours of this shit and be like, I'm proud of this. Like, we're going in the right direction. This is my team. I'm proud of it. Put on my Jets hat and down the street I go. I have my Jets hat in the fucking closet. Like, you're done, dude. Like, I don't wear them anywhere. T-shirts are packed away. Like, it's ready for next year. Like, I'm already into 2021 with my Jet stuff. Like, I'm out. Like, it's done. Packed all. I've noticed how weird it is.
I haven't worn any Jet stuff in quite a while, man. And it's going to be a while.
Now, this is an interesting one. This is the rumor that Connor Rogers threw out there yesterday. Jets are going to trade Quinnen, the only defensive player who has a pulse. He hasn't. The problem with Quinnen, in my opinion, is that he's good, but not good for where he was drafted. It's the same thing as Leonard Williams, dude. Yeah. It's the same thing. He's a good player. He's not great. He's not a game breaker. He's still young. And there's guys not in theory around him make him better. But what would you take to let him go? Like, what would be your offer? You say, you know what? I'm done. He's out.
I think it would have to be a minimum 2nd-round pick. I know you mentioned a 3rd yesterday. I don't think I would give up on him at this stage for only a 3rd-round pick. I still think he has potential as a starting defensive lineman who can, cause some havoc, make some plays. Right now he's on pace for about 9.5, 10 sacks, which, for year 2, considering where he was year 1, I think that's a sizable leap. You want to kind of trust the coaching staff as far as what his ceiling is. But yeah, I don't know if you even have the right coaches in place to evaluate what that is. So I don't know. I could totally see a scenario where Joe Douglas just wants to completely blow it up, get as many draft picks as possible, get rid of as many guys as possible that weren't his to begin with, and kind of start his own culture that way.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what they're thinking about. And the other thing, like I believe it was Damian Woody said it, where he's like, listen, he goes, put studs around him or put quality guys around him and let him flourish. Right now, there's not a lot of guys around him. I'm like, wow, wait, last year they all played well. Like Henry Anderson and Fodokasi and Shepard and Clendon, all these guys played well. And then they said, well, he needs an outside pass rusher. Well, the Jets haven't had that in 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, man. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you, if Joe Douglas does ship him out. He didn't draft him. He makes a decent amount of money. He's not the game-breaking player you want up the middle in theory for the money he makes. It wouldn't. Nothing would surprise me at this point, really, to be honest with you.
No, it's just a matter of whether or not you think he can get to that ceiling as, a potential all-pro caliber player. I don't think he'll ever be, a 3rd overall pick, worthy of that. I don't think he'll ever be the Aaron Donald that we were hoping him to be. But yeah, could he potentially develop into an all-pro? I think so. I think it's too early to say what his ceiling is. So yeah, to give up on him at this point for only a 3rd-round pick, I think that would be silly. You're still trying to, establish some long-term building blocks here. So yeah.
From Ed, show me how they will win. Well,
I can't.
I mean, you need one of those Ryan Fitzpatrick, and the game. You know the game. The first quarter, he throws 3 picks, and he's just out of his skull, just playing real stupid bad football. You need, while that is happening, Joe Flacco to be on fire. Then you need a monsoon to come in where there's like hail and rain and winds, and the cheerleaders rush the field, and then all kinds of shit. I don't know, dude. I don't have an answer. Like I can't honestly find a way the Jets win this game because they just suck so bad.
Yeah, it's essentially got to be a Ryan Fitzpatrick, at Kansas City Week 3 game of 2016 or 2017, whatever the year was, 2016. Dude. Yeah, the 6 interception game. That's pretty much what you need from Fitzpatrick. Otherwise, you don't have enough talent to compete with the Dolphins, which is sad because they were a team that was rebuilding last year, and they are so far ahead of where we're at already. Yeah.
I mean, like the Becton being out. I mean, the return of Perriman doesn't really mean anything to me. But I mean, listen, the thing is, I don't think the Jets are going to go 0-16 because they will find a way to squeak out a game, maybe two, just go out of dumb luck or just they'll play above their heads one game and maybe Adam Gase gets hit in the head with a rock or something like that, and something else happens, or God knows what. The sun gets in his eyes so he can't see his plays and they actually work. Some weird shit will happen, but I don't know. I don't see it Sunday. And the other thing is the Dolphins need this game too, man. This is a kind of game to keep them going and in the playoff hunt and everything else. They need to win. They have to win this game. You agree?
Completely agree.
What a way to punish Bell. Let him go to the best team in the league and probably win a championship.
It's going to be Le'Veon Bell and the Chiefs versus Jamal Adams and the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. We know that.
How many touchdowns will Bell have against the Jets in a couple of weeks? I'm
setting the over at like 3.5 probably.
Yeah, and he's gonna score a touchdown and just run by Gase and just give him the look, right? It's gonna happen.
Just give him the ball.
He should. I'm rooting for it, dude. Like I'm just
spiking in his face.
Let's see. Great news for me this week is Myles Gaskin, fantasy owner. Bell chose the Chiefs over the Dolphins, and Gaskin is up against the Jets.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, Bell was smart. He wanted to go to best. He wants to win, obviously. That's after a year and a half of our miserable nonsense. So, I don't think the Jets trade Quinnen. I think Joe Douglas could play. He can ask. He could demand more. He doesn't have to trade him. He's not he's not a tough spot with Quinnen. But if he gets an offer, he doesn't have. It's an offer he can't refuse. He takes it, right?
Well, yeah, that'll kind of be like the Jamal Adams negotiations from last year, where you put him on the block. He listens to phone calls for everybody, as he says. And if you don't get the right package back, then you hold on to him.
Yep, this is a great one. But Perriman has 2 catches for 30 yards on Sunday. Gase will say that we couldn't get him the ball because of what the defense was doing. Excuses after excuses. He's making them today. Like all they do is make excuses, man. Like today he said they had no speed on offense. He's glad Perriman's back. Like there's always a reason why the offense isn't working. God forbid he adjusts. God forbid he adapts. God forbid he takes accountability that he just fucks up here and there. Like he must be the only perfect coach in the NFL because he's never wrong, right?
Nope.
It's amazing.
It's always somebody else or something else. It's not him. It's not his play calling. And I guess his coaching staff agrees, minus Gregg Williams, who I guess he didn't ask.
It's so sad that we want to be competitive but not win. Welcome to being a Jets fan.
I don't even want to be competitive. to me, that does nothing. I'm sorry.
It's not fun to watch. That's for sure.
It's not fun to watch, but let's be honest about what ownership is. You don't think that they'll take a competitive game or, God forbid, an actual win and say, you know what? Adam Gase is turning this thing around. We're getting rid of all the problems, and he's starting to turn it around. You don't think they're saying that to themselves if that happens? If they just play a competitive game this Sunday?
If they were saying that, if Sam Darnold was playing and they were doing some things, it's one thing. To win games with Joe Flacco and Frank Gore, like, what are we doing?
That'll just make them say, you know what? Sam's the problem. It must be him.
I can't drink enough tonight. This is going to be brutal. I can't even imagine on Sunday. This will be even worse. Can they even score 17 points this week? That's a good question.
I don't think so.
I think so. And they have garbage time points.
Yeah, they'll be at like 10. They'll get a garbage time field goal when they're down 4 possessions, and they'll score like 13.
Gase plays for those field goals. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll go to a score prediction in a little while. Our good friend Dan, what would Douglas get in return for C.J. Mosley next offseason? Well, here's the problem. He hasn't played in 2 years, and he makes a shitload of money. So would the Jets be willing to eat some of that contract to help move him? Like, I don't even know what you would even –
I think they would have to. Otherwise, I really don't know what you could expect to get back in return, because I'm pretty sure he's guaranteed, like 16 to 18 million, somewhere in that range for next year. And I'm pretty sure the following year he still has a pretty large cap number as well, because that was supposed to be his third year, not his fourth year. So, yeah, to expect somebody to take on that contract, like you said, when he hasn't played in 2 years, that's – for an inside linebacker as well, that's – I don't know.
If only the players were man enough to come together and say they would not play as long as Gase is coach. I mean, you'd think if they had more guys that were on longer-term contracts, but they're all on one-year deals. They all, like Jordan Jacobs, Poole, all these guys are on one-year deals. So they're probably like, you know what?
Yeah.
We'll just be like good soldiers. We'll mind our own business and get the hell out of Dodge as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Right? There's nobody long tenure. Because like Jamal Adams was the guy. He was the guy to do it. Like, this shit ain't working. Quincy Newman was one of them. All the guys that had any kind of thing, they're all gone. Osemele, right? Anybody?
Yeah. Anybody that speaks out, anybody that's not part of the Gase culture, they ship right out. So
you think they're shopping Darnold? Jet thing to do is trade Darnold, win a few games, lose out on Trevor Lawrence. In my mind, I thought that was like a ludicrous idea to say they would never trade Sam Darnold at the trade deadline. And once the articles started coming out from Brian Costello and Connor Orr and all these guys, I'm like, you know what? The Jets are leaking it. When the Jets leak stories, they're either trying to drum up interest, right, or prepare the fans for it, right? To float the idea out there a couple weeks in advance, so we're like, oh, this is ridiculous, and then it happens.
We know how it works, but again, to think about shopping Sam Darnold at the trade deadline when you have no guarantees of getting that number 1 overall pick, you better be very confident in those second and third quarterbacks that are coming out before you think about trading Sam. Because again, you have never, not once, given this kid a proper evaluation. Every single team around the league is surrounding their young quarterbacks in the right system with the right coaching that's built around what they do best with playmakers, wide receivers, offensive linemen. We have not done that at all for Sam Darnold at this point. So again, I understand the different opinions about whether or not he could still be a franchise quarterback or what his ceiling might be, but to trade him without any guarantee of Trevor Lawrence, I can understand once you're securely in that number 1 overall pick and new head coach, new GM says, you know what, we just got to take this kid. He's a generational talent. We think there's too much damage done to Sam. All right, I'll disagree with it, but I can understand it. But right now at the deadline, without any guarantees of who you're going to replace him with, that just doesn't make any sense.
Why not let Morgan start? I think right now they're playing Flacco because they're obligated to. He's a veteran guy. He's the next man
obligated
up.
To what?
I mean, it's just the pecking order of he's the most ready guy. Like you can't bypass him now, because Kevin, I know we don't think this, but in theory, in the wild world of the New York Jets, they're still not eliminated from the playoff hunt. So you gotta pretend. Stop. You gotta act like you're trying to win. Act like
where's the Jim Morris soundbite when I need it? Playoffs? Really?
But I mean, they got to sell some kind of nonsense to somebody. But if you're week 11 and Sam is still not ready or whatever like that, then you'll play Morgan for 4 or 5 weeks. Like, you know what? Let's just see what he is. Flacco's not going to be here next year anyway. Hopefully you hit that point where he actually does play. But
I just feel we're at that point already. I don't see any value in having Gore out there and Flacco out there. Any of these veterans that are not part of your future. Get as many young guys in there as possible and find what you have going forward.
Next comment. Everyone on this roster is here for a paycheck. Choke coach, trainers, players, GM, owner. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys aren't. They're just collecting checks, and they don't really give a rat's ass about themselves.
Yeah.
Let's see. Players motivate themselves. This talk of people not playing is bullshit. Sorry with all the negative talk, but the players play. That's not necessarily true. I mean, players, yes, you'll play, but you could also just do enough to act like you're playing, but not give max effort. If you're hungry, just watch the amount of energy and passion and pride other teams play against us. The Jets are walking around. They don't even pick each other up half the time on the ground. They just walk around like, all right, I'm good. Let me out. I'll get a breather. They're not ultra competitive right now.
No. I mean, I think that good locker rooms, yes, to some extent, they police each other. But usually at the top is that head coach that can kind of oversee it, keep guys in check, and just somebody that the players respect. And that usually kind of creates that winning culture, and where guys are flying around and they're trying to do right by their coach, by their teammates. They don't want to let anybody down. That's that culture of accountability. We don't have that right now.
No, not at all. How great would it be if he gets fired in Miami? That'd be very fitting. He should have stayed in Miami to begin with. He should never came up here.
Yep.
Clown. In a perfect world, Gase would have been fired at the Broncos game, but Karma would be getting him fired at the Bell scores on him a couple times. I would agree. I mean, to have Bell score a touchdown, like you said, hand the football, that would be epic, dude. That would be the best. And then he gets fired after the game.
I'm absolutely rooting for 3 touchdowns for Bell in that game. I hope he goes off.
Let's see. Guaranteed Gase has told owners Douglas that once he gets everyone healthy on the field, this offense will be good. He's a great salesman. He's the ultimate used car salesman because he's been selling bullshit for a year and a half now, and nobody buys it except for Chris Johnson. But like I said, today's comment about Perriman is just so funny. He's like, we missed that speed. Well, when Perriman was here, you didn't use him. Like when he was actually healthy, you didn't use him. But now it's like he was a missing part.
Yeah, and like you said, Jeff Smith, he's got speed. Cager, for the few reps that he was out there, he's got speed. There's guys you can pick up right now that have 4.3, 4.4 speed. You can send them on a go route just to have that element of speed that you talk about not having. So that shouldn't be the excuse. Yet somehow, that's what he's going to turn to for why his play calling is shit.
Next one, Adam Gase will not release Adam Gase until they officially eliminate from playoff contention. Yes, you read that right. No, he's his own boss. I mean, we understand that because when he asks,
how is that possible?
But you think about it. When he has a conversation and says, I asked everybody if I should give up my play calling duties, and they said no. So basically, he asked himself, okay, self, how do you feel about yourself? I feel good about myself. I'll keep my job. Like, what are we talking? It's just like, this is
and if anybody spoke up, they're probably fired because they know that Adam Gase has all the power.
And that's where you know that Joe Douglas and these guys have no spine.
Yep.
Because we're laboring the point a little bit, but like, how the fuck do you watch this week in and week out and be like, you know what, coach, you're doing a bang up job, man. This offense is just high flying. You're scoring 12 points a game. I mean, you guys are just tearing shit up right now. Keep doing what you're doing. Go get them, team. Like, how do you say that?
That's why these last few weeks have turned me off so much on Douglas. Like, I can understand the long-term rebuild and things like that, and him still maybe being a great draft evaluator, talent evaluator, all that. But these last few weeks, him hiding, him continuing to support Gase, not getting out in front of this stuff with the media, answering questions, like that is your job as GM. If you can't handle it, you shouldn't have accepted the job. Yeah,
I mean, another vote for live stream watching the game on Sunday. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This bingo game has me kind of interested, but I'm worried about a third quarter. We're going to be slurring our words and probably lose all our subscribers. So that'll be the only thing.
Or we might gain a lot more. I don't know.
I hope this game is on in Colorado just so I can watch the chaos that this game will be. I mean, not me, man. The prediction. We got some score predictions here. 45-10.
I assumed.
We got a challenge here. I think the Jets will win our next game. Does anybody want to put money up? I mean...
Wait, so the Jets to win outright? I'll take that bet.
I mean,
if you're going to give me even odds on the Jets to win outright, I'll absolutely take that. Especially when the Dolphins money line's like minus 400 or whatever it is.
Is it cool to promote the channel to other key fan groups? Oh, I don't care. I mean, is there a key fan group? We do no marketing at all. We don't do anything, man. We're really bad at like any kind of promotion or advertising. That's just not
promote away, man.
Jets versus Chiefs live stream. Please, it'll be a good one. Oh,
that might have to be the one that we do.
That might have to be the one. We almost got to guarantee that one. We're gonna be laughing our asses off for 3 hours while we just get roasted by like 40.
Yeah, I think that might have to be the one.
Sunday's still a toss-up. Let's see. Jets fan since 1965. Love the Jets. Jets fan forever. You know what the sad thing is? There's so many fans like that. We're all out there that are so many diehard, passionate fans that live for every Sunday that are so disheartened, so disillusioned that you're just demoralized, right?
And you know what?
We all deserve better, dude. Like, we just deserve better than this at this point.
Yeah, and there's also the other side that's still, I'm a Jet fan forever. I can't believe you guys are rooting for losses. Like, I understand that because you know what? I was that fan for a very long time. Like, you met me when I was still that fan. I was still that fan, not very long ago.
Asshole.
Exactly, I was. Right? Like, I supported everything the team did. Go team, go, green goggles, all of it. Right? I hated ripping the team. I hated any negative PR about the team. Like, you take it personal to an extent. Like, I understand that, but there comes a certain point where you see enough of it over and over and over again where you're like, dude, I can't do this anymore. I can't just blindly support.
It's like abuse.
Yeah, I can't blindly support an organization that can't get out of its own way. So
we used to fight
I finally come around. Yeah, we used to fight all the time about that.
Yep.
You finally opened my eyes.
I'm not really proud of that. I don't think, but oh, here's a good one. Did y'all like Fitzpatrick when he was a Jets quarterback? He's a likable, funny guy who has a talent to be around so long, but he was hot or cold.
I'll start with that one because his first year, what was there not to like?
That Buffalo game.
Well, aside from the Buffalo game, he took over, set franchise records, had great chemistry with all the wideouts, was respected by everyone in the locker room. Awesome. Where everything turned was that offseason where he was demanding like $12 million and McCagnon only wanted to give him $8 million. Oh, it was 16, yeah. So I'm like,
I don't forget.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, you've been a journeyman quarterback. You finally found potentially maybe a home here where you just set franchise records and you're immediately going to ask for $16 million? Like, he didn't deserve that. We all knew he didn't deserve that. He was a bridge quarterback at best. And, he did the whole contract saga, and then he didn't even back it up. The whole team was a disaster the following year. And, could you say that maybe they should have kept him as a backup? Yes, but at the same time, I like Josh McCown.
Bash the organization.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. I liked Josh McCown much more as that backup / mentor, where I still feel like towards the end, Fitz kind of became a little bit more about himself.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was not a Fitz fan. I mean, we all enjoyed the ride. That ride, the Decker Marshall,
the best ride we had in a decade.
But that epic meltdown in Buffalo soured me on him. Like, there's no coming back from that. There was none. Like, you knew it. That just sucked the life out of the team. It set us back. And then that whole holdout, where the whole drama, I'm like, dude, you're still Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. Like,
I understand everybody. He's tough. He has the beard. He's funny, all that shit. At the end of the day, you're a journeyman quarterback for a reason. Like with the Dolphins, he's going to have this little run, and then when he gets bad, he gets real bad, where it's like he's unwatchable. Where it's like interception after interception. He won't take a lot of accountability for it. It's just, it is what it is. But that offseason was miserable, Dad. It was like he sold for like what, $10 million, something like that.
It was like 8 to 10, something like that. Yeah.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
If you live streaming the game, we need a laugh track. We'll have a plenty of a laugh track. Do you guys know how to use Discord? You could both be in a call and stream game from one computer. Oh, that sounds like way too much. No,
we're not tech savvy here.
No,
I could try and look it, but I don't know.
No, we're not that kind of. We're not that educated for that. Where is the play-by-play?
Oh, man.
If you want play-by-play from us, you're sorely mistaken. Let's see what we got here. I'm not a fan of the live stream, but I feel like after the game is better. There we go. We got to see. We're getting talked out of it. How much you want to bet Bell goes for 150, 2 touchdowns in a few weeks? Once Bell scores, he should run right to Gase and give him the ball. Yep. Same thing you said, prime time.
Yep. I think it's just a matter of, how many carries he gets as far as his production goes. He's going to be splitting carries most likely with Edwards-Helaire. And you have all those weapons, as far as Kelsey and Tyreek Hill and Watkins and McCole Hardman. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just a matter of how many touches he gets. But it should be a blowout, and it wouldn't shock me if he scores a bunch of touchdowns.
Fins will beat the spread, but Jets will get a late burst. Miami 24, Jets 13. I'd be surprised if it's that close.
That score wouldn't shock me.
Why are we thinking of trading Quinnen Williams? I mean, I don't think we're thinking about it. I think teams are realizing the Jets are in almost fire sale mode and going to try to take advantage of it, because now we are at rock bottom, and their thinking is probably the Jets want as much cap space as possible and as many draft picks as possible. So you throw some offers out there and see the Jets bite.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't be thinking about it at this point, because he's kind of showed some progress this year. But to think that Joe Douglas isn't thinking about it, Quinnen Williams wasn't his pick, and we've seen what he's done with almost every other guy that wasn't his pick, guys that are more accomplished than Quinnen Williams at this point. So if he can get something valuable back in return while getting rid of the salary, adding a second-round draft pick or something like that, I think he would probably do it.
You notice all coach Jets hire or GM always talk more than action. I mean,
yep.
That's. Rex backed it up though. That's the only thing. I mean, Joe Douglas right now, you were on point completely when after trading Le'Veon Bell to not meet the media, at least address it when it's that kind of like a prominent move where everybody's talking about it, was kind of like chicken shit. And Joe Douglas has to face the media sooner or later, and he can't give us like coach speak. You can't be like, oh well, the culture and this and that. Like, dude, your ship is sinking here. Like, this is rock bottom, and you're a part of it. How are you gonna get out of it? Right? Completely
agree. At some point, he's got to face the music. He's got to address the media. He's got to address all his quotes from the offseason where, he talked about, this being the best culture in sports. You want to win a Super Bowl every year. Jamal a Jet for life. Trust in the head coach. Trust in the playmakers. Every single time that he opened up his mouth, he said something stupid. So at some point, you have to address that. And waiting until after the trade deadline when your entire franchise is up in flames right now, it's just a terrible look.
The offense is better than we have seen. The way they practice, if you could see it, guys are out there flying around. The Rich Cote press conference. Oh, those Gase press conferences are something else, man. It's just, let's see. I'll say one thing. When Adam Gase finally gets fired, he'll never get another job in the NFL, even as a coordinator. I mean, probably not. Maybe he'll be some kind of a quarterback coach or something like that, or he's made enough money to walk away and be like, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah, wasn't that his quote last year? I'm rich as fuck.
Yeah, the guy. That's...
So yeah, he'll probably be fine walking away.
How do the Jets have fans? Well, that's a good question.
Good
no,
question.
the Jets have plenty. How do they keep them is the question, because we've
we're
been
idiots.
through so much bullshit over the last 10 years. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, we're a glutton for punishment. We continue, unfortunately, to do these videos and support them. But yeah, I mean, as far as financially supporting them, I think that's where fans are starting to draw their line. Whether it's not going to games, not buying merchandise, things like that. I think fans are starting to realize that they can have a voice and start to influence certain things. But if you've been a fan for long enough, especially if it's like in your family, you've had season tickets for a while, like I have, it's hard to just completely give up or root for another team. That wouldn't have the same meaning for us.
Yep. What's going on, my Jets people? What's up, Adrian? Just
Yo, Adrian.
Another Friday night. We're not even. This isn't like even a preview show. They're just kind of just talking because I have nothing to say. Like I don't even give a shit. Like it's just not.
Is there any other topics people want to talk about other than the Jets?
I'll talk about MMA. You got a great fight. You got Ortega, Creed, and Zombie tomorrow or on Saturday night. Great fight. You got Khabib and Justin Gaethje in 2 weeks.
I'll talk anything other than the Jets at this point.
You guys don't get it. What I see on practice, we are a Super Bowl team. You should see us in practice. Hey, practice. Yep, the Adam Gase
best
monster.
Practice team in football.
That's it. Tyson is my spirit animal. Not sure if that's good or bad, but thank you, I guess.
Sounds
maybe.
like a compliment.
Yeah. I'm sure the next comment's like, this guy's a clown,
Take the good with the bad.
This is a good one. Does Cutting Belt open up more carries for the third string tight end? Yeah, they're gonna feature Trayvon Wesco this week now.
Trayvon Wesco, 10 carries for 8 yards on Sunday. Book it.
This is awesome, dude. Whoever he hires, the next coach just fire his ass too. I'm sick of this. Oh, this is outstanding. This is actually cheering me up. I was actually depressed before. This is a really good one, though. It's hard for me to understand how Douglas can speak on anything in regards to integrity when he won't even speak up about the current situation. Fair point. That is a very fair point where he's supposed to be very reputable, very upfront, honest, and in front of things. And right now he's kind of hiding. And everything's blown up around him. He's got to face the music sooner or later, man. And it's not like we're hoping that the media takes him to task, doesn't give him some softballs for a half hour. Yeah, and what I don't think he realizes, and a lot of other people realize that, take jobs in this town, is that if you just hold yourself accountable, if you own your mistakes, you'll get a lot longer of a leash with the fan base here. Like fans will have respect for you saying, you know what, I got it wrong, or I screwed up this decision. Like just own it. Trying to cover up every single one of your tracks along the way for all the mistakes that you make, we see through that bullshit. We know what's going on. Fans in this town are not stupid. We follow everything. So, to put out all these talking points that he does, it just makes himself look stupid. And now as things are getting worse and everything he said's being proven to be false, to not get out in front of it, to not talk, to not address the media and answer questions, why'd you take the job? If you can't handle the tough questions in this market, don't take the job, period. Yep. I actually like you guys doing post-game stream, not during the game. I kind of like your idea, Kevin, is we could do like a quick halftime show. Like,
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Like at the 2-minute warning of the game, we go live until like the end of halftime and just do like a 5-minute just like assessment of what the hell we just saw or some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta think about it.
I'm down with that if you want to do
it. Big prime time. Why you still got the sunglasses on your hat indoors?
That's a good question. I really don't know.
I love our comments, man.
I wear them when I'm driving, and then I flip them on top of my head, and then I just
shit.
It's for style points.
Yes, all the pressure is on Miami, so I expect them to win any given Sunday. I mean,
expect them to win.
I mean, there's no pressure on the Jets. I mean, Miami should win. This, if anything, this could be a potential trap game, especially after a big win off the 49ers. But the Jets just suck, man. Like, it's just,
if Sam was out there, if Becton was out there, and Le'Veon Bell, and the team that we expected to have, all right, I would expect to compete. I would think this is a winnable game. But the state of the team right now, the mood in that locker room, especially, to think you're going to get all out effort and guys coming together, rallying around the release of Le'Veon Bell, you're fooling yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the next one is I got 34-6 Dolphins. Gase doesn't have the guts or heart to even try to put up 17 points. I mean, he's got Perriman back, though. I mean, the other thing, too, is at what point do we wonder what the hell's going to happen to Herndon? Like, you could not ask for a better disappointment than him right now. So does Gase keep going to him, or do you start seeing more of – I mean, Griffin's useless. Do they see more Wesco? Like, what do they do at Herndon now?
That's a very good question. I mean,
that's what I'm here for, man. I'm here for questions.
I think you have to start working Wesco in a little bit, but you also just paid Ryan Griffin. You gave him a contract at the end of last year. So I don't know how quickly they're going to be to get rid of him. I'm not sure how much money is guaranteed for next year. So there might be an opt-out, that they can get out of that deal. But yeah, I mean, Herndon's a guy that we all had high hopes for. His rookie year, he caught 39 balls, stretched the field a little bit, did some good things, had nice chemistry with Sam. And it's just amazing. Like right now, he's getting open too. It's just it's drops, it's fumbles. Yeah, it's crazy how far backwards he's gone because that's not the player we saw his rookie year.
If you're Trevor, I'm assuming Lawrence, and you see what's happening with our Jets, would you stay another year to avoid being drafted?
If Adam Gase is still coaching the team, yes. Why would I allow him to infect my brain and kind of steer me in the wrong direction after watching what he did to Sam Darnold, a guy that was touted as a potential top 5, top 10 quarterback? Mike Francesa and several others thought he would own New York, and all those quotes I remember hearing. And you completely, I don't want to say completely yet, but you certainly ruined the kid enough where we're talking about trading him for pennies on the dollar, a second-round pick into his third year. So yeah, if I'm Trevor Lawrence and I'm watching that, why would I want to come here?
Yeah, that's the only scenario where I wouldn't come here. Is Gase still here? Other than that, I think obviously, if you hire a highly touted coach, whatever it is, a really hot coordinator, something like that, a Bieniemy or whatever else. Yeah. I mean, you could sell a vision to him if you had the right coach. Oops, almost knocking shit over here. But Gase in the fold. Dude, I knocked my drink over last.
I know.
It was all over the place. That Gase would be the only thing. If he's still here, I'd be like, yeah, I'm staying in school. Or I wouldn't. I'd say, listen, you could draft me. I'm not going to come there.
And that's also another thing that worries me is that even if you do fire Gase, do you have that guy lined up that's willing to come here, that you're going to be willing to pay, give the kind of power that he wants?
I already fear it.
Yeah.
I really, really fear what's going to happen this head coaching hire. I really do. I don't have any confidence at all in this.
Yep.
Let's see. We kind of talked about this a little earlier. What do you guys think Quinnen Williams can get us back in a trade? I mean, you're hoping for a second?
I'm hoping for a second. I think right now his value, unfortunately, would probably be a third-round pick, because he's making a little bit of money. But yeah, I still think the ceiling is there. Probably not of a third overall pick, but certainly I think he could be a Pro Bowl caliber player and anchor on a defensive line. So yeah, for a team that doesn't have many building blocks right now, I think we should want as many as possible. And certainly the trenches are, where you want to start usually. So yeah, I think he has value to the Jets. It's just a matter of whether or not you can get the right deal back. And he's not a Joe Douglas guy. So yeah, if you can get a second-round pick back, that's probably, I think, what it would take.
Honestly, as a diehard Jets fan, as bad as the season is, I still wear my Jets apparel no matter what. I'll wear like a hat here and there, but the problem is, everybody knows I'm a Jets fan. And if you wear the shirt, then they feel obligated to talk to you about it. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't want to hear your comments about the team. I don't want to hear your jackass jokes and comments. I hear myself. Like, me and you have our own. Like, the last thing I want is some Giants fan or Eagles fan to lecture me or some cow. Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, I just don't want to hear your shit. So I'd rather just avoid it. Like, it's just simpler that way.
My Jets coffee mug and my Jets water bottle gets me enough hate from students and other people I work with. So
yeah, dude,
as far as wearing any gear, I'm not going to add on to.
Like on my desk, I have like a Sam Darnold bobblehead. I have a Le'Veon Bell one, which is useless now. And I have like a little Jets little stuff around. I get comments for that, so I'm like, I'm good enough with that. Like I don't.
Yep.
Let's see what else we got here. I hope Bell does the Isaiah Crowell ass wipe celebration, throws it in Gase's face.
That's great.
I'm already pretty much checked out from this year. I mean, right now, going into Sunday, there's not really anything to really watch because Sam Darnold's not playing, Beckton's not playing, Mims isn't playing, Bryce Hall isn't playing. Like, there's not all the guys you want to see play aren't playing. Other than like your bright light on offense is Crowder because your running backs. I mean, you hopefully Perrine gets enough carries. We probably won't. I don't give a shit about Perryman, right? Yeah, and on defense, who do you want to watch play? Quinnen, maybe.
I mean, if John Franklin Myers is out there, Bryce Huff,
Ashton Davis, like gets out of the witness protection program.
Lamar Jackson, maybe.
we're grasping at straws, man. Yep. This is just bad. This is probably bad. I don't know what I'm doing here. Let's see.
It's just sad.
It's pathetic, man. Let's see. Next one. At this point, everyone clowning us. Yeah, I mean that's the fact. I mean it's
we're the
now we're part of like all like the jokes on like social media, like the Twitter ones. There's a really funny one with the SpongeBob. You saw that one? That's a good one too.
Yeah.
That loss to Buffalo killed Todd Bowles as a coach.
That loss to Buffalo killed Tyson. His soul is still in those stands.
I will never forget that game ever in my life. I just can't. For those of you who don't know, we were all at that game. We were 2 rows behind the Jets bench, and the demise happened directly in front of us. Kimbrel Tompkins dropped that fucking pass about 10 yards from me. I almost went on the field and strangled him. I couldn't take it. I just could not. That meltdown was just, oh.
And the car ride home was even worse.
So then we drive home like 6.5 hours in a snowstorm.
Blizzard.
We all had to go to work the next day.
Yeah. I got to my apartment at like 5:15, hopped in the shower, and I was on the road at like 6 o'clock.
Dude, I was on like 2 hours of sleep. Still smelled like booze. Yeah, it was terrible. Let's Tyson and Kevin would be saying fuck every other word during a live stream.
That is true.
It wouldn't be easy, man. It is cool the way Tyson and Kevin do the show now. What, we answer questions? This is fun. I mean, yeah. You guys make it for us, man. You guys answer. You guys ask us the questions that can be comments for us. Like this is easy for us. I thought this was gonna be. I never knew what to expect. To be honest with you, I was like, we're just gonna,
Yeah, I like this so much better than the old format. Much more interactive. Get to talk to a lot more different people at once instead of just one call for 10 minutes. So I like this.
Yep. This is an interesting question. Not the exact question, but I was asked this earlier today. Does Gase keep this job if he beats the Chiefs and shuts down Le'Veon Bell, but then goes 1-15 for the rest of the year?
What?
Not exactly this, but he opens another. But a lot of people are asking, is there a way that Adam Gase, like last year, can bounce back and save his job this year?
So,
a competitive game against the Chiefs would probably open some eyes. Like, hey, maybe this guy can coach. Like, could he string together 3 or 4 games and save his job this year?
So I don't think that should be enough to save his job. But like I've been saying, knowing our ownership group, knowing the number of times they've given him a vote of confidence, it's clear, I think, that Joe Douglas supports Adam Gase at this point and that they're at least trying to be in this together. It would not shock me at all if they kind of pat themselves on the back, view it as progress, if they win 2 or 3 games and say, you know what, we had to get all the problems out the door. Now that those problems are out, we trust Adam Gase to rebuild this team in his image, whatever the hell that is. So I could absolutely see that happening. It should.
That's why I want him fired now.
Exactly.
Like, I want him fired now to even avoid the opportunity of him even trying to save his job. Like, don't give him a chance to resurrect anything. Let's just get rid of him.
Yep.
There aren't any good coaches with options that would take this job. I don't agree with that. If you have the number 1 pick and you have a lot of cap space and you have a lot of draft picks, you can sell that to any coach. As long as they along with Joe Douglas and they believe in Joe Douglas and them and they respect ownership, right?
They respect ownership.
Yeah, we're fucked.
That's a big
I just talked myself out of that. There's not enough beer in the world to get through this season. Well, you got to try seltzers, Luis. You got to try seltzers. Then there's the hard liquor. Yeah, you got to shoot. I mean, we're just experimenting. Ryan Barger, like a good friend of ours, he's trying to get us like a shipment of beer to our houses. I'm like, dude, you're trying to kill us? So let's see what we got here. I'm starting to think that people that work for the Jets also work for the Knicks. I think the people that work for the Jets are actually worse than the Knicks.
The
Knicks actually spend money. The Knicks actually make splash moves and spend money. They just hire the wrong, they try to bring in the right guys. They brought in Phil Jackson. They try to hire like top level guys. They brought in Larry Brown. Like, I know too much about the Knicks, but they try bringing all prominent people to do the right thing. The Jets do the opposite. They always bring in the coordinator. They don't spend big money. They take the cheaper way out sometimes.
Yeah, and at the very least, at least the Knicks went to the playoffs in the last decade. The 1 year, with Melo, where they won like 50 games. So yeah, at least they had something in this decade to kind of celebrate a little bit. They won a playoff series. We have not been to the playoffs in 10 years. We haven't had a home playoff game in 19 years. Like, that is insane levels of incompetence to go that long, especially when you change stadiums, you force your fans to do the PSL bullshit and all that. And you haven't given them not one thing you've given them to celebrate. So
they're the worst team in New York sports. I mean, the Jets they've surpassed everybody. They are the worst team.
Yeah.
Now we're getting drink recommendations. Best drink for a Jets game, 110 proof Maker's Mark. It would never last. This show would be canceled at halftime. We would not make anything. Let's see. Getting a look at Denzel Mims is the only thing left to be excited about for the season.
If he ever gets out there.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see Zuniga, you want to see Ashton Davis, you want to see P. Ryan Moore, you want to see all these young guys, Cameron Clark, John Franco Myers, Bryce Huff, like extensive playing time, right?
What else are we looking forward to this year? I mean, that's really all you have. Hoping the young guys can get out there and that you find a few, building blocks to go forward with.
When we lost in Buffalo, it felt like a sledgehammer to the stomach. You have no idea, man. Being there was one. I've been to a lot of losses. I've been to a lot of road games. I've been to a lot of losses. That was one of the worst walks out of a stadium ever. Because we were so confident going in, like it was.
We were talking so much shit.
Like right, we was like a foregone conclusion. We were winning the game. We're going to the playoffs, making fun of the Bills.
Yep.
And
we had the Rex Ryan banners and everything.
But the Bills had a phenomenal fan base because they were out of it and they still packed the stadium. They're still loud and proud. They did their thing. They're always great fans.
Yep.
And we were so confident and walking out and look, we deserved it. Like we were such arrogant assholes.
Yep.
The one guy threw a beer at me and I couldn't get mad. I'm like, dude, I deserved that. Because for the last 2 hours, I taunted you until Ryan Fitzpatrick melted and Revis melted and everybody else melted. Oh my God.
I remember the tailgate. I remember talking shit to everybody as we were walking in, having the Rex Ryan signs and all of it, man.
It's just bad, man.
And like you said, they have such a great stadium environment there, home field advantage. I mean, that's where you see that it helps. And unfortunately, that's something that we just haven't had since we moved to MetLife. We have not had a true home field advantage where teams fear coming to our building to play games.
Gase is doing exactly what he did in Miami. Got rid of the best D player, blamed the quarterback. Tannehill leading the league, dumped the running back. Team took 3 years to recover. Oh, this Gase experience is setting us back a couple years, dude. And
this might be worse than Miami.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, he is what little the Jets had. He's destroyed and shot the cannon here. So, and it's all predicted. Like we've talked about this. And like the only funny thing is, this is how bored I've been, dude. I've been pretty bored lately. Yeah. I actually went back to listen to some of the shows we did when they hired Gase, and we got roasted for being so negative and you gotta be more open-minded and maybe he learned his lesson and we had to buy in. And all of our concerns, almost to a T, are exactly what's happening right now. I mean, every one of them. It's wild, dude. Like he lost the locker room. He's gonna, like we said, he's gonna get rid of Jamal Adams. He's gonna do that. Like all this shit that happened is predictable.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be optimistic to a degree because like once you make a hire, that guy's here for probably at least 2 years. So you don't want to like be the kind of fans that every single day, every week, you're just complaining, without reason. So like you want to try to give yourself some reason, for optimism, fresh start going into the year, fine. And we did that. And like even when I was at training camp, like I was impressed by some things that I saw with the offense.
Me too. The pace, some of the drills,
exactly.
The drills he was doing. Yep.
Exactly. Some of the drills, the pace, the tempo. I was like, you know what? If this is the offense that we're going to be watching every Sunday, I'm down with that.
Yep.
Yet everything that we saw in practice, like we always joke about, like best team in practice, but really they looked like a legitimate good team in practice, a good offense, well run, like up tempo. And yet for whatever reason on game day, that's nothing like what we see. Nothing at all like what we see.
Like he did some like the passing drills and the line blocking drills I've never seen before that looked smart, using all like the pads, hitting the players, like things like that. I was impressed by a lot of that stuff. And then of course never translates.
Nope.
What's up, boys? I cannot believe we have seen 0 Denzel Mims so far this year. Well, Jack, what's up?
and like we talked about, a few shows ago, the amount of pressure that's going to be on Denzel Mims once he sees the field, when you've got 10 to 12 rookie wideouts that were all taken within the first 3 to 4 rounds that are just shining right now, making plays every week. Enormous pressure on this kid.
Enormous pressure. No training camp. No chemistry with Sam. No chemistry with Flacco. I mean, and then you're worried about just him staying healthy the rest of the year. I mean, that's I bought the Red Zone channel last week. Jets are unwatchable. I can't argue with it, man. It's not an easy watch, man. That's why you got to just like drink and not take it seriously and stay calm like we do, man, right? We never get mad.
Well, I don't want to make you feel bad, but I'm pretty sure the Jets get a revenue share from the Red Zone package.
Oh, for Christ's sakes. Let's see. We got Dan here again. And for those of you guys that don't know, you got to follow Dan on Twitter. I forget what is it? NYJ Dan 16.
NYJ Dan 16, I think.
Yeah. It seems as if it's deliberate ploy to tank the season. Keeping Gase disrupts any sort of spark to allow the players to excel and possibly pull out a win. I mean,
the whole conversation, and this is why I would love to hear Joe Douglas address the media now, because I would love to hear like what his thoughts are now. Because before the year, he was saying, no, we're not punting on the season. He had all those quotes. Well, now I'd like to hear what he has to say about that. Because if this was his best job to put together a winner, like if he actually thought this roster was good enough to compete, good enough to win, well, that says a lot about him, unfortunately. and on the other side, if he was legitimately trying to tank, that's also just as bad, because you sacrificed your young quarterback for what? To get another year of Adam Gase, evaluate him for another year for what? If you were already like concerned about him, where you didn't want to go all in on him as your head coach, you should have fired him last year. So you went through this tank year for what exactly? I don't get it.
Yeah. I'm a Dolphins fan. I know how rough it can be, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Stay positive. Well, the light at the end of the tunnel starts with Adam Gase getting the fuck out of here. Yeah. That's the first thing. And then it's like, you got to hope Joe Douglas can draft. If Joe Douglas can't draft, then this can set us back another 5 years, because right now our only glimmer of hope is all these the first round picks, everything else, and maximizing it. But I mean, and it's just being fair. This first year of Joe Douglas, this first year of him actually making moves, hasn't been overly impressive, man. There's been a lot of misses here.
No, and I mean,
just being factual, dude.
No, and like you said, you want to hope that he can draft well, but his first draft class, half these guys are hurt, and then even like the draft classes in Philly, like those guys aren't really doing a whole lot. So I mean, we want to have this hope and feel optimistic that this is the guy. We have the guy finally. But we said the same things about McCaffrey. We said the same things about John Idzik. And, within 2 to 3 years, most people were like, you know what, these guys aren't the guy. So the more and more that Douglas continues to just align himself with Gase, tolerate this losing culture, the more and more we're going to ask questions and feel like, you know what, maybe you're not the guy. I'd like to believe he is, but to not have questions at this point is crazy.
Quality insight here. We suck.
There you go.
We're not tech savvy here. The one thing you're going to learn about us, Louis, is that we are honest. We're not going to tell you things we're not good at. Like, you guys are giving us recommendations how we can do a live stream. I can tell you right now, we're not going to do it because we're not that smart. We're just not. When it comes to primetime, is impressed that I can actually handle how to get these comments on.
I'm shocked you're doing this.
Yeah, like this is asking a lot.
Yeah,
I fucked up Blog Talk for like 2 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you told me 2 years ago that we'd be doing this kind of show with you running it, I'd be like, no way.
I know you're nervous about me, man. I'm trying. Thoughts on Neville Hewitt? I think he's, all things considered, he's played well. Like he is what he is, man. He's high energy, he runs around, he makes plays inconsistent.
Yes, but he's another guy though that's not as noticeable as he was last year. Like I feel like last year we heard his name, he was making plays, like especially in the run game. He wasn't terrible in coverage.
Shit, man. The defensive line,
everybody has though.
But dude, how many times did a running back run 10 yards untouched? Like they're getting through the line like it's Swiss cheese. Last year against the run, they were kind of at least like, if the guys in front can hold their block, he can shoot the gap and make tackles. He can do things. He's just getting mauled, man. Like they're running free. Like, here you go. Like a downhill slide.
Yeah, I mean, the entire defense really. Like, it's mostly the same unit minus Jamal Adams, yet it seems like everybody's just kind of taking a step in the opposite direction this year.
Can we all just agree on our hatred for Peyton Manning? Yes.
Yep.
And if you guys didn't listen, what happened was, I guess when we do a show, Wednesday?
Yeah.
These were all kind of, I listened to an interview with Andrew Brandt, who's an excellent analyst. He worked with the Packers. And when the Jets were hiring coaches, they called him for his insight, get recommendations. He gave like a 2-hour glowing review of Mike McCarthy. He thought everything was fine. He didn't give a very, I guess he wasn't very behind Adam Gase. The next day, the Jets hired Adam Gase. And he's like, what the hell happened? They said, Peyton Manning called us.
It's what we knew. Like, we didn't know to the extent that the Manning call influenced the decision, but I mean, to me, that pretty much says it, right? You did your job, you did your homework, you interviewed your candidates. Yet once Peyton Manning picked up the phone and said, you know what, this is the guy you got to hire, that's the decision they made.
Yeah, as we start wrapping this up a little bit, because we're almost in an hour and a half of a game we barely talked about, and primetime is going to fall asleep on us because this is boring. So let's see. What happened to guys like Foley, Shepard, Phillips? I haven't heard the name all year.
Yeah. I mean, Shepard was even inactive for week 2 or week 3. And Phillips, I haven't heard at all, really. It's hard to figure out what's going on.
And that's why you kind of question Greg Williams a little bit. Like, is he not getting the most out of him, or are they onto his defense? Is he not making adjustments? Like, what happened?
I just think you're seeing the defense play a lot of bend but don't break. They know they don't have the talent. They don't have the corners. They don't have the pass rush. And so when you're dealing with that, you kind of weigh the risks of how you want to play your defense. If I'm aggressive and I blitz, we're going to get beat deep. So we're seeing a lot. His corners are playing off the line of scrimmage, 10 yards off, trying not to get burned deep. They're usually not blitzing as much. At least it seems like they're not blitzing as much as they were last year. At least against the Cardinals, they weren't. So I don't know. It's hard to figure out what's going on with that defense.
What players are going to get traded before the deadline? I say Crowder, Darnold, Herndon, Quinnen, Desir.
I don't think you're going to find anybody take anything for or give up anything for Desir.
No, he's useless.
Even Herndon at this point, which is
Useless.
crazy to think. I mean, but yeah, the other three guys you could definitely get something back for. But if you're planning on keeping Darnold, though, the idea of also getting rid of Crowder now too, I mean, just admit that he's not part of your future at that point. And you might as well trade him if you're going to get rid of Crowder too, because you're literally going to have him out there working with nothing.
A current Jets player needs to go on first take or the herd and put Gase on blast. They'll lose their job, but he'll be happier at a new organization. I mean, didn't Jamal Adams did this, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
We've already been through this.
Yeah, like Jamal said everything that needed to be said about Gase and this organization and ownership, and they shipped him out the door. So I don't know why anybody else would follow his lead there.
The next person that's going to – I make my prediction. The next person that's going to blast Adam Gase is Greg Williams when he gets fired on Monday.
Think?
It's going to happen, dude. Like, I'll tell you, the Jets are going to lose like 35 – no, I'll say 38 to like 13 on Sunday. The finger point is going to start. They're going to ask Gase about Greg Williams' comments. He's going to fire him. Then Greg Williams is going to go ape shit on him and just –
I hope so.
Gase.
I hope so. Because that would take a lot of balls to fire him after – 6 games after leaving his entire offensive staff in place after last year.
Yeah, I mean, Quinnen may get traded. Why? I guess Joe Douglas doesn't want to rebuild after all. Does he watch our pitiful defense every Sunday?
No, he wants to rebuild, but he wants to do it his way with his guys.
That's the problem.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense because a young, talented player is a young, talented player. I don't care who brought them in, who drafted them. If you have talent, I mean, Rex Ryan inherited a team that was mostly guys that Mike Tannenbaum brought in. Yep. I mean, like, not a lot of those guys, or Eric Mangini, that era, like, it was those guys. He inherited that team, and he just got more out of them. So, at a certain point as a head coach, you have to be able to take the talents that's there and mold it and get the most out of it. And we just constantly see Adam Gase trying to, force these square pegs into round holes and, force guys to match his system. And like we always talk about, we don't even know what the hell his system really is.
Did you hear about the Pat McAfee rumor that some of the Jets higher-ups told him that they're purposely tanking for Lawrence?
That's culture in sports.
Yep, I've heard about that. And, I mean...
How do you try to sell your fans on the best culture in sports, and yet you take the job and you start unloading talent and trying to tank?
Douglas's statement on the Bell release made me think that Gase has all the power. Gase basically told him to do it, and Douglas doesn't want a bad rep as hard work to work with his next job search. I mean... I still have that concern that Gase has way too much power and Douglas is kind of a puppet right now, and it still bothers the shit out of me because.
But you know what?
He's not proving us otherwise, dude.
But
look at Manish's article today about bringing in Frank Gore, bringing in Balaj, bringing all these guys.
But if that's the case, you're telling me right now that Joe Douglas can't seize that power from Adam Gase the same way that Gase took power from McCagnon and got him out the door. You're telling me Joe Douglas couldn't do that? He couldn't talk to the media and just throw Adam Gase under the bus, say this shit is not acceptable? Who would win that power struggle? You really think that Chris Johnson would fire Joe Douglas and keep Adam Gase to pick another GM? No fucking chance. As incompetent as this ownership is, there is no chance that would happen. He would not survive a power struggle with Joe Douglas. So this is a matter of Joe Douglas just not stepping up and taking it. He's allowing this to happen. If he puts his foot down and says this shit is not acceptable, Gase will be out the door. If he forces the issue, but he's not.
Is it really a slam dunk that Gase is going to get fired? It seems like Gase, Douglas, and Chris Johnson are all on the same demented page. Every day that Gase is still here, I'm becoming more and more concerned. After every bad loss, he keeps his job, I'm more and more concerned. When you start hearing these Sam Darnold rumors, they're going to trade him by the trade deadline, I'm starting to really worry that this ownership bought into this bullshit, and it's like a true rebuild, and that rebuild is going through Douglas and Gase.
It's funny
right now, dude. I cannot take 2021 with Gase's coach. That'll be good luck trying to sell tickets. I don't give a fuck who your quarterback is. With him as head coach, you're not going to win.
It's funny, for the last decade, we've always wanted, head coach, GM, owner on the same page. And now maybe these guys are on the same page, but they're just not very good.
This next one, this is great.
Oh, no.
A 2-score prediction. The practice Jets, 30, Miami 9. The game Jets, 9, Miami 30.
That's
brilliant. Tyler, that's awesome. That's funny as shit.
Practice Jets would roll Miami.
This is on me. Sam Thick and Mania running wild. I take full accountability for that one. I ripped him. I said he sucked. So
yeah, still early though.
He's still got a couple shanks left in him.
Hasn't had any big kicks to make. So
All right, let's see. What is the ideal scenario for the Jets next offseason? Curious to hear from each of you guys. Big fan of your channel, by the way. Well, first of all, thank you, Jonathan. And I know me and Primetime completely disagree on it, so go ahead, Kev.
You want me to start it?
You go ahead.
So my ideal scenario for next offseason kind of starts with this offseason and still seeing what you have in Sam, because I'm still a believer in Sam as a potential franchise quarterback. So I still think you need to see enough from him this year. As some weapons start coming back, I'd like to see him with a different voice as far as the head coach goes and the offensive coordinator. But you'd like to see enough to feel confident in him as your franchise quarterback, because I think that gives you the best scenario to actually build a foundation, a legitimate winner, especially if you're picking number 1 overall. Because if you're picking number 1 overall and you can trade that pick to whoever's picking like 2nd, 3rd, or 4th and get those extra 2 first-round picks, still take your number 1 wideout and have an additional 5, 6, 7 first-rounders, when you combine the Jamal Adams first-round picks plus all your cap space, that would be a nice situation to be in for Joe Douglas to build a foundation. But I do agree with a lot of people that you have to start seeing a little bit more from Sam once he comes back. Otherwise, new coach, new GM, to expect them not to take a generational talent like Trevor Lawrence, I don't know how realistic that is. Yeah,
having a number 1 pick is the ideal scenario for a variety of reasons. Like, I don't want 3, I don't want 4, I don't want 2. I want number 1 because it gives you an opportunity to either draft Trevor Lawrence or do exactly what you said. But the ideal scenario for me evolves around getting a prominent head coach. And I don't know who that person is. Like, we've talked about names that, you want to see if there's any guys that happen to get let go, Doug Peterson, Sean Payton. I mean, who knows? Like, there's some wild rumors. Kyle Shanahan, they're not happy with him in San Francisco, which is
crazy,
insane. But that's the NFL, though. So if you can get one of those guys, my ideal scenario is starting with that, like getting that coach, because you're coming into a market right now that has a media that's just ready to roast you all the time, an impatient fan base, a culture of losing, no respect throughout the league. And this is so similar to when the Jets hired Parcells. It's the same exact thing, dude. When Kotite was here, we were at a laughing stock. Well, now we're back. The circus is back in town. And the best way to get rid of that is a coach that can stand in front of the media and be like, this is my way. I don't care if you don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, the Harbaughs can do that. There's certain coaches but coaches that have actually won in the NFL, not a fucking guy that lost to Miami pulling this shit here.
The problem is, I don't know if that coach would just want to hop on board with Joe Douglas. That kind of coach.
My ideal scenario is they're doing that, and I'll do whatever it takes to get him. Like, if you a prominent guy, you do whatever it takes to get him. Like, I don't give a fuck if you owe Joe Douglas $20 million. It's football, dude. I don't care. Like, this is my dream scenario. The Johnsons be like, no, we can't lose $20 million because we didn't sell toilet paper. I mean, that's, whatever. Yeah. But that's where it starts. Having the number 1 pick and getting a very good coach. And the only concern I have about like an Eric Bieniemy and everybody else is a first-time head coach and dealing with all their learning curve and all that stuff and the pressure that's in this job. Yeah. Because you got, not only are you taking a job that's a young team is going to have all these young draft picks, all this cap space, you got to legitimately change the culture. Joe Douglas talked about it. This next coach actually has to do it because it's a losing culture. They're used to what? They're not playing hard. There's no accountability. There's no leadership. There's no discipline. You got to change it all, man.
No, completely agree.
So, and I'm not going to say, like, I'm not against Eric Bieniemy by no means. I love everything about him, but this job's not going to be easy, man. And it's got to be a guy that they've got to be on the same page. Like, my other big fear, obviously I have a lot of fears tonight, is that Jets ownership, which they've done in the past, is going to be enamored by a coach. And that coach,
Bryant.
Right? But not even that. They're going to be enamored by a guy that's not a Joe Douglas guy, and it's a forced marriage. And I fucking hate that. Like, if you're all in with Joe Douglas and he's your next guy for the next 4 years, then you say, you know what? We're going to find the perfect marriage. A guy that you get along with, that you have good ties with, that this is we're all on the same page, because the last thing you want is just say Eric Bieniemy is not Joe Douglas guy. The last thing you want is a year from now, 2022, that they fired Joe Douglas and you got to hire another general manager, and you had this whole.
Well, what do you mean by we're going to hire the perfect guy? Shouldn't this be Joe Douglas's decision to make, unless he refuses to bring in that prominent name that wants the job, in which case you even mentioned you get rid of him.
Yep.
But other than that, I feel like this.
They've got to be on the same page. It's got to be in symmetry.
Yeah.
Here.
So that's, I feel like this should be Joe Douglas's hire. He should run it. He's the football guy. You let him make the hire. If it doesn't work out in 2 to 3 years, they both go, and you hire a new GM and you let him hire the new coach. And you do it the right way.
Should Jets fans even buy jerseys this year, since almost everyone's on a 1-year contract?
Why?
No.
Why would anybody in their right mind consider buying a jersey right now? Even Becton. Why would you buy a jersey at this point right now?
Yeah, where you wearing it to?
Seriously. Wear your Curtis Martins and your Corvettes and the old school jerseys, your Klecos and whatever else you have. Buying a new jersey at this point when the guys are going to be gone after a year or two, it's a waste of money.
How would you feel about Arthur Smith, the Titans OC as head coach? I mean, listen, you can make a case for about 5 coordinators right now. All the hot names, all the innovative guys on offense. We talked about them before. Brian Dable, Eric Bieniemy, all of them. You can make a case for all of them. The only problem I have, and it's not a problem, it's a concern, is that a first-time head coach in this market with all this shit this team is involved in right now. It's a mess.
No, you're not wrong. But again, I still want the offensive mind, and I don't know if you're going to get the prominent name. So you might be looking at guys like Smith and Dable and Bieniemy as your top options if there's not that proven candidate to come here.
How about hiring a prominent draft analyst for a GM? Mayock is working for the Raiders. They talked to Daniel Jeremiah last year, didn't they? To be part of part of Joe Douglas's staff.
Yep.
So I mean, listen, Joe Douglas has a very reputable staff around him. Like all the guys he brought in are highly touted. Excellent resumes, excellent pedigrees. But now it's a matter of you have that. Do they actually have a say, or is Adam Gase overriding it with his bullshit? Right? That's the kind of question we have.
Yeah.
So we'll go to some score predictions. 46-9 Dolphins. Let's see. 27-13. Jets scored 2 red zone field goals and garbage time touchdown.
Makes sense.
The next head coach is just going to be someone who JD has a good relationship with. Well, who is that?
Doug Peterson, maybe, but I don't think he's leaving Philly.
Let's see. I just missed the comment. It was a good one too. Oh, here it is. We need a coward type guy to clean this shit up. He's the guy, but he's way retired and he's not coming back out of it. Because I know Boomer asked him actually.
Yeah, guys like him, Brian Billick, Jim Harbaugh, like that's exactly what we need. I just don't think that guy's coming here.
You guys can't take Brian Daboll from my Bills. He's a hot name, man. If we don't get him, somebody is. I mean, that's just what he's doing with Josh Allen, those guys before this last game is. I mean,
he was with the Jets before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thought so.
Let's see. The rift between the players and Gase is obvious. Be even more obvious on Sunday. I think, right? You can almost predict this going to be one of those games where they're going to be like kind of looking at the sideline and be like, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Let's see.
Yeah, I think those players had a lot of respect for Le'Veon Bell, and so I think that move probably rubbed a lot of guys in that locker room the wrong way.
38-7 Dolphins. Jets score a garbage time TD. Wouldn't surprise that. Yeah, this is a name we talked about a couple weeks ago. Would you take Doug Peterson? The Eagles let him down. Joe Douglas comes from the Eagles.
Yeah.
Could do worse, man. I mean, he's
won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He turned that team around, and he's used to a very volatile market too. The Eagles fans are worse than we are; they're completely crazy.
Yep.
So we'll do a couple more here. Let's see. This one's Gase does not want star players to say anything. Gase chases good talent out the door. Gase is not a leader nor a head coach.
Great.
Yeah, comment. I mean, that's excellent.
He's intimidated by star players. I mean, that's essentially what it appears like. And any kind of player that's outspoken and has talent, he's intimidated by them, and he ships them out the door because his ego is too large. He's insecure. He wants to win his way.
Adam Gase, a guy with 0 resume, runs this organization. Never seen anything like it.
Nope.
It's mind-blowing. No NFL coach in their right mind will coach this team. Only a college coach would accept the Jets head coaching job. I don't agree with that. I think there's a lot to sell on this, but it comes down to what they think of Joe Douglas and the front office and how much power they're going to get, right? Like
I think the quarterback's big too. Whether or not you're picking number 1 and you can get Trevor Lawrence, or whether or not the new coach still believes in Sam Darnold as the guy going forward, I think that's just as big of a decision.
I bench Crowder so I don't get less points. So I think 28-9. Why would you bench Crowder, man? You should play Crowder. He's probably going to have like 10, 12 catches on Sunday.
But he's had over 100 yards every game he started. So,
Kevin, I hope you're taking Miami on the spread. Guaranteed money every week.
I mean, I haven't taken the Jets spread all year, so I mean, I'll probably throw Miami in the spread into a couple of parlays, but it's still Fitzpatrick always worries me. He could always have that Fitzpatrick game, and 9.5 I feel like is a lot for a Miami team. Not that I have any confidence in the Jets to play with any kind of passion, but to me this is just it's a weird kind of spread for the team that Miami is getting 9.5 points.
Flacco fakes injury to avoid death on Sunday. 43-6 Dolphins. Fitzmagic looks like Mahomes in this one. All right. Here's a good one. This is now just to show you guys that we are.
We're gonna fight on this one, I think.
What are we talking about here?
I hope
so not Jets related, but do you guys call it pork roll or Taylor ham? I call it pork roll.
All right, we actually agree. Yeah, because it is pork roll. Pork roll is the name of the food. Taylor ham is the brand. So like, where else do you go when you ask for like, hey, can I get a Bubba burger? No, you ask for a burger. Like, you don't go anywhere else. And you ask like for specific name brands of food, you call it by the food. So it's pork roll.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
We don't always have to fight, man.
I know. I'm surprised by that one. But you're from South Jersey, so that's why.
Oh, it's like that now?
well, North Jersey is the Taylor ham people. I never bought into it.
You guys in favor of going consulting route to hire a head coach? Absolutely 1,000% no.
Corn Ferry, you don't want to bring him back?
Yeah, dude. Like if you have football guys in your organization, if you have a group, a front office like Joe Douglas and Hogan and all these guys, Chad Alexander, like, dude, you sit them in a room and you interview your coach and you know what you want. And then you have the owner there you get the recommendation. This is the guy we feel comfortable with. You don't need some analytics guy figuring out what coach you'd be.
I thought Chris Johnson and Jaime would do the coaching.
Don't get me started, man. we're already on bad terms. Need a hard ass coach to instill some fear into these guys. No doubt about that. Your next coach has to be disciplinarian. He's
hard ass coach that's also respected. Because Gase tries to do this bullshit hard ass routine. Players see through it. They don't respect him. You have to have some kind of winning resume to back that up. And he's tried to be the Bill Belichick guy without the resume to do it.
Yep.
And that's why he looks like a jackass.
Christopher Johnson better not be in the building for the next coaching hire. He could be in the building, just don't be a part of the interview process, right?
Or at least don't answer your phone until the hire is made.
All right, prime time. Let's see. That's good enough because these comments are just wild, dude. We're good. I think we've hit our peak here. Jim Harbaugh. I mean, obviously that's a fascinating name. He's one in the NFL. He's got definitely a pedigree that you could bring in. Let's see other comments here. I think that's it. Prime time. What is your game prediction?
I mean, it's hard to get motivated, to think the offense is going to put up points in this one with Flacco, no Becton, backfield with Gore and Pirine. Yes, you're getting Perriman back, but I still don't expect a whole lot out of him. So I think the Dolphins defense, especially with their corners, Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, those guys are going to shut us down. I know Kyle Van Noy, I think he's questionable. Guys like him, Agba, they can rush the passer. So I think we're going to face an uphill battle to put up at least 20 points. And so from that perspective, yes, Fitzpatrick could always have a Fitzpatrick game and keep it close. Unfortunately, right now that offense is rolling. They just put up, 40 on the 49ers. Parker, he's always going to be motivated playing Adam Gase. So I think this is going to be a very comfortable Dolphins win. I think it'll still finish around that 10 to 17 point spread. So I probably will avoid the actual, the spread as far as betting goes. But yeah, I think it's going to be a comfortable win for the Dolphins.
Before I go into mine, the question is, you guys Mets or Yankees fans? Well, Primetime's a Mets fan. I'm a Yankees fan.
Which means I get this shit year round. So
yeah, and I'm a Knicks fan too, which makes it even worse. Thank God for the UFC.
Yeah.
I guess my prediction is the same as yours. Like I just don't see it. I think the minute you release Le'Veon Bell, you suck the life out of this locker room. They're like, you know what? This coach is not for us. We're against him. I'm not like a Flacco. I mean, Flacco's Flacco. Becton not playing. Flacco could be running for his life. Yep. Defensively, the Jets don't really have anything on there. I mean, Devontae Parker, Gesicki. I mean, you can stop the run because the running game isn't that good. But Ryan Fitzpatrick is just playing very well. He's going to run around, get his all crazy, make some plays with his legs, throw the ball around. And, I think it's going to be a comfortable win for the Dolphins. I mean, like 35, 13, 14.
Yep.
And I think, especially if they get up early, they come out, score a quick touchdown, they're up 10-0. This team will mail it right in. They're not going to be no fight, nothing enjoyable about this. It is what it is. Like, it's hard to it's hard to even look you in the face and say, hey man, I can give you a blueprint to win this game. Cause I wouldn't even believe it. Like, I don't know how Joe Flacco will be standing upright when Becton's not playing. You're looking at Frank Gore. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like the return of Perriman, I'm not even inspired by that. Like, no. I mean, more excited about Mims coming back, but I don't even like Vincent Smith. Like, I don't know.
We're trying to talk ourselves into it, but
I can't even do it. I had maybe like 10 more seltzers. I kind of think about it, but I don't know. I just don't see it. So let's see if any more. Miami 30, Jets 13.
I think it'll be right around that, like 27, 13, something in that range.
This poor guy's a Tigers fan. Oof. Let's see. There's another good one I just saw. It scrolled by so fast. Okay, I lost it. All right, prime time. What did we decide for Sunday? Are we going to do a halftime show, or we're going to do a? What do you want to do?
I'm very tempted to do the live stream, but I feel like it'll get like too crazy. So I don't know. I mean, if you want to try it for a little bit, see how it goes, or we could just do the halftime show and then the post game. I want to be able to listen to everything, so like I know what we're talking about when we do the post game. So
it's up to you, man. I think. Well, let's try this for this Sunday. We'll try a halftime show.
Okay.
So it's a 2-minute warning. We'll come on and we'll go from the 2-minute warning to the start, and we'll see how that goes. And if it keeps going in the games, we can start a live stream now. We'll start our live stream at halftime. There's something like that. See how it goes.
The game will probably be over at that point anyway. So.
Prime time. Enjoy your Friday night. Enjoy your Saturday. It's going to be sunny, like 55, 60 degrees. Not too bad.
Enjoy.
I'll talk to you on Sunday.
All right, later.
What's crazy